Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash, double honors, the elders and the apostles, a great millstone. Shalom to the elect across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is going to be about the Lord is going to lift up that standard, right? Starting off in the book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Right? So, those of us who put our trust and belief in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, those of us that are doing the work, right? Preaching the gospel in season, out of season, at the best of our ability, making full proof of our ministry. Once we hold on to this truth, the Lord is going to, provide protection for us, right? When the enemy is going to come in like a flood, they're going to think that they could have the way with you. The Lord is going to show them that no, right? Like it mentions in, I believe is what, Revelation, in 11th chapter, coming down, if I'm not mistaken. If it says, if any man will hurt them, fire will proceed out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Let me see if I can get it. Just want to make sure. Right, this is Revelation chapter 11. And I start at 3. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Now the 2 witnesses is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, right? The Lord is going to give power unto the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom because we was separated, right? Back then in in the times of King Solomon, if I'm not mistaken, we was separated, right? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, which is the Jews, right? But in this time we are getting back together, right? Through the word. 5th verse, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devoured their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Right? And that's the kind of power the Lord is going to provide his men with. Right? So going back, as a matter of fact, I believe I didn't finish off reading that Isaiah 59 and 19. So from there, I would like to go in the book of Psalms to back up what I said. Psalms chapter 27 and verse 1, the Psalm of David, the Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? So we do not fear man, we do not fear Esau, these heathens, or the wicked of our people, right? The Lord didn't give us that spirit. Lord, the scriptures say, the Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love, and of a sound mind. So why we must So why we must have fear, right? We don't fear, man out here. We fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We do, but outside of that, we don't have the spirit of fear, right? The second verse, when the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came up to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. See, going back what I said in Isaiah 59 and 19. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord is going to lift up that standard, right? And King David here, he was a man with the power, all right? He went, fighting and slaying, tens of thousands, right? He was swift in battle. You understand? The scripture say he had feet like hinds feet, right? It tells you also in the book of Psalms 144, right? Where it says what? He teacheth my hands to war, so that the bow of steel is broken by my arms, right? To break bows of steel. Not even the strongest man alive could do that, right? The strongest man alive today, he can't do that. But with the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, we're going to be able to perform those things, right? That our forefathers, who had the spiritual power back then did. We are indeed going to perform those things once we hold on to this truth here, right? Third verse, though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. Why? Because we know that it's nothing for the Lord to give us, the power and to deliver our enemies into our hands, right? It tells you in Joshua 23 and 10. I'm going to go to it. Joshua chapter 23 and verse 10. One man of you shall chase 1,000. For the Lord your God, he is it that fighteth for you as he had promised you. So the Lord is the one who's going to fight for us. The scripture says, strive for the truth and the death, and the Lord will fight for you. So that's why we risking our lives, and our freedom to do this work, right? So when that time comes, you're going to be rewarded, right? And you're going to be defended when the enemy come in like a flood, right? Like I start off this lesson with, right? Because we know things like this has happened. Look what happened when, Samson was surrounded by those Philistines that came against him to kill him. He killed all of them with a jawbone of an ass, right? That is spiritual power. He had super strength. So we are saying these things that, hey, these things are written for our learning, right? And seeing how advanced the technology is, we ain't going to have the same level of strength as Samson did. All right, the power that we're going to receive is going to be magnified, right? The Lord magnified the power of our enemy. You see that they have, high-tech guns, right? High-tech weapons. So the spiritual power, the right-hand side, it definitely needs, to be updated, all right? It's going to come on a higher level, right? That's why the Lord has, people make movies like, you see Superman and Omni-Man and all these animes and cartoons, is because these things will actually be a reality, right? These things will be performed, and eventually it will become a reality real soon. People will actually see it, right? So from there, I'm going to go in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 26, right? I'll start at 25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. So when they come for us, right, the troops and the soldiers and the men with the guns and the weapons that come to put harm on you, we know that standard is going to come, right? So we are not to fear, because we know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is in full control. Okay? We just had to be obedient unto him. That is it. So from there, we'll bring out the last precept and I will close it off from there. This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2. And I'll start at verse 62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. Right? So, and that's literal. So I will close it off for now. I hope this lesson was edifying. Kalalal Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rokah Kodash. Double honors the elders and the apostles are great millstone. Shalom to the elect.